Abochi, and this is JoyNews Prime. Now the news in detail. First, the Special Police Team Against Illegal Mining has intercepted and seized 4 excavators, 2 of which were reportedly being escorted by armed men believed to be military personnel. Director of Special Operations at Police Headquarters, ACP Eric Esiedu, says the operation was launched following credible intelligence received indicating suspicious movement of heavy-duty mining equipment outside the Samraboy township. The team had earlier raided a large illegal mining site identified as Akani, situated on the outskirts of Asekrigwa. The operation resulted in the arrest of 9 suspects and the seizure of mining equipment being used for illegal mining activities. We'll bring you more details in our subsequent bulletins, but moving on, the Criminal Investigations Department of the Ghana Police Service has announced receipt of a, quote, notorious Ghanaian criminal named Adinda Akpo Abdul Mujibu, who was caught on CCTV in several robbery operations in some elite areas in Accra. He was arrested by the Togo police force after 3 years chase in Ghana. At a press briefing, Director General of the CID, DCOP Lydia Yakodonko, stated that the suspect has handed over or was handed over on 14th May 2025.
The Ghana Police Service has been pursuing a known armed robbery suspect named Adinda Akpo Abdul Mujibu, whose activities have been captured in various CCTV footages and circulated widely on social media. His criminal activities were primarily targeted at high-profile individuals residing in communities such as East Legon, Cantonments, Ridge, Tesano, Airport Residential Area, and Adrengano within the Greater Accra metropolis between 2022 and 2024. On 3rd October 2023, you will recall that the Ghana Police Service in a Facebook post assured the public that we were actively pursuing this case. In this regard, enhanced security operations were deployed in the affected areas, and our intelligence teams intensified efforts to track down the suspects. We are pleased to announce that on Wednesday, 14th May 2025, at approximately 0830 hours, a 5-member delegation from Ghana, led by myself, departed Accra aboard a military aircraft to Lome, Togo, to officially receive suspect Adinda Akpo Abdul Mujibu, who had been arrested and was in custody of the Togolese authorities. The suspect Adinda Akpo Abdul Mujibu, also known by aliases such as Rashid Bawa, Maxwell, Papa Rich, or Dawa, is believed to have operated alongside another accomplice, Alidu Mazouk. These individuals are suspected to be behind a string of high-profile robberies carried out between the years 2022 and 2024 in various elite residential areas in Accra, as aforementioned. Suspect Alidu Mazouk was arrested by the Ghana Police Service on 4 September 2024 and subsequently remanded by the court to assist with investigations. However, suspect Abdul Mujibu evaded arrest and was believed to have fled the country to either Togo, Cote d'Ivoire, or Nigeria. Investigations revealed that suspect Abdul Mujibu possessed both Ghanaian and Togolese identification documents.
The Accra Metropolitan Assembly says it is targeting the Kimbu Road to railways, ECG Junction to the King Taki statue, and Opera Square to Adabraka in its latest decongestion exercise scheduled for next week. The AMA says the 3-day exercise has the support of the Koliklote Municipal Assembly, with support from the Ghana Police Service, market leaders, transport unions, and other key stakeholders. Speaking to Joy News, Head of Public Affairs of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, Gilbert Ankra, said the Assembly is going to introduce a 24-hour operational module which will include a task force to ensure the permanency of the decongestion exercise while promoting trading activities.
Feedback that came out from the market queens were quite clear that they are shared within the market. So we're urging all of them to move into the market and then embark on their trading activities. Those who don't have, the Assembly is considering other alternatives, just as I said earlier on, to ensure that on specific days, some specific roads within the entire Central Business District, that the metropolis will be blocked for trading activities and all that. We are also looking at ensuring that some of the pavements, we do markings for them to be behind those lines for them to. And let me also state that as part of measures to ensure sustainability, Mayor has been very, very clear that we are going to introduce a 24-hour operational model, and this will include a sanitation and a security task force to also complement efforts by the Assembly to promote trading activities. Mayor Bako Alote acknowledged the fact that the informal sector plays an important role, and he is not in just as he has assured them to displace them.
Meanwhile, the mayor of Accra, Michael Kpakpo Alote, has been engaging street hawkers in parts of the Central Business District today, ahead of that major decongestion exercise slated to begin on Tuesday, May 20th. The mayor, who was accompanied by the municipal chief executive for the Koliklote Municipal Assembly, that was on Saturday, walked through key areas in the metropolis to appeal for cooperation and explain new city-wide trading reforms. The engagement covered Kimbu Road, Kojo Thompson Road, Sempe Road, Swansea Road, Gadgesburg Avenue, Market Street, Okanshi Road, Kantamanto Street, Insawam Road, Park Grand Street, as well as other areas earmarked for clearance in the first phase of the exercise. Addressing the hawkers and traders, the mayor, Mr. Alote, said the operation was a necessity, not an act of aggression, aimed to clean Accra and make it a model capital for the sub-region. In other stories, Assembly members of Echimwa-Mpoano want President Mahama to consider the nomination of Sakina Oforiwa, a member of the communication team of the National Democratic Congress, as district chief executive. They've threatened to resist any other nominee for that position. Echimwa-Mpoano and Asante Mampong districts are the only two assemblies in the Ashanti region yet to receive nominations for the district chief executive position. Oyeming Tewia reports.
34 assembly members, made up of 25 elected members and 9 government appointees, on May 9, 2025, petitioned President Mahama to nominate a former assemblywoman for Adobera electoral area, Sakina Oforiwa, as district chief executive. But the number of the petitioners has since shot up to 40. This means more than 2/3 of the 50 assembly members are written for Madam Sakina, one of the 3 candidates shortlisted for the position.
From our press conference today, and then with our activities, from honorable members individually may have their choices, but if you heard the voices, how a lot of them were cheering to one of the candidates when we mentioned the nominees, it tells you that one candidate, which is Honorable Sakina, is most of the assembly members their preference. However, I can say there are choices, but majority of the assembly members would opt for Honorable Sakina.
The assembly members say she has been supportive of development projects in the area, donating 30 motorbikes to assembly members, and also provided free meals to polling agents of all political parties in the last general election. Here is Assembly member for Anansu electoral area, Salifu David, who insists the failure of President Mahama to nominate Madam Sakina would be resisted.
To cut the long story short, she is a unifier. She is a unifier, somebody who can bring the party together for development. Not even only the NDC party, but will bring both NDC and an MPP party together for national development. And 2, she's somebody who is very supportive, very, very supportive she has contributed a lot in the form of motorbikes, about 30 motorbikes. Even aside that, she also gave us some monies that we cannot mention here to help our campaign during the assembly members' elections. And aside that, during the elections, she also bought food and other ingredients to feed the polling agents and even those who were at the polling stations to vote. I mean, even she did not single out the dissent. In my area, for instance, everybody was fed. Everybody was fed. This shows that she's a unifier and she doesn't discriminate. And the most important thing is she is very approachable. Very, very approachable. When you are going to this lady, you don't entertain any fears. And she's a mother for all. We are pleading with His Excellency that he will mention the one that we prefer so that the endorsement will be very easy.
But how is the delayed announcement of the DCU nominee affecting the development of the Achimamponua District Assembly? Assembly member for Ntobroso, Emmanuel Domfe, is one of the petitioners.
Currently, the district coordinating directors are serving as the acting DCs of districts without DCE. And then these coordinators don't have much power, especially in terms of awarding contracts and then taking certain decisions. They are limited. There are certain decisions they can't take. So almost all the sectors are affected. In terms of school feeding, because there's no DCE, our district, we are not operating. In terms of projects, developmental projects, roads, schools, infrastructures.
Meanwhile, members of the United Cadres Front of Achimamponua have also appealed to President Mahama to speed up the appointment of DCE for the area. The group intends to hit the streets if their preferred candidate is not appointed. From Achimamponua for Joy News, Ohimenteria reporting.
President John Dramani Mahama says government will decentralize Ghana's sanitation budget, making districts responsible for their own cleanliness. This, he believes, will address inefficiencies in the current system, which has been criticized for channeling large sums to private companies that end up exploiting their workers. Speaking during his thank you tour of the Greater Accra region, President Mahama said sanitation will now become a key performance indicator for assessing local assemblies. Here's more.
All resources are going to be available to all assemblies to implement their development projects and carry out effective sanitation programs to keep our districts clean. Cabinet will soon meet on a decentralization of the sanitation budget and make every district responsible for its own sanitation. Cleanliness will become one of the key performance indicators for measuring the performance of MMDCs and will determine whether they remain in office or are removed. Now that most of our DCEs have been nominated and confirmed, we'll begin observing the National Sanitation Day program every month. This will be a revived monthly exercise involving all Ghanaians. This time, it will not be a symbolic event. It will be legally backed, it will be properly funded, and it will be operationalized through partnerships with local assemblies.
Meanwhile, in the Upper West region, President John Dramani Mahama has assured of fixing major roads in the area. Addressing chiefs and people of the region on his thank you tour, he asserted that fixing the roads will not only increase economic activities in the region, but enable them have access to quality healthcare as well. Here's Rafiq Salam's report from Wa.
President John Dramani Mahama first had a closed-door private meeting with the overlord of the Wala Traditional Council, now Hussein Sidi Pulipo IV, before interacting with Paramount, Divisional, and sub-chiefs and Pogonemini from the traditional area. President Mahama then rolled out of the One House Palace, headed to the Nasiri Bomb, the second park, to thank the chiefs and people of the region for the groundswell of support given to the party, which enabled him to win not only the presidency but overwhelming victory for 188 members. That included 4 independent parliamentarians who gave the party more than 2/3 majority. Vice President of the Upper West Regional House of Chiefs and Paramount Chief of Zini, Kuro Abu Dieka Sunkabenania the fifth, laid bare the biggest challenges in the region, particularly focusing on major roads in the region.
Sablihan Tumu Road, Isa Kojukiri Wahabu Tumu Road, Wa Dormon Wichau Road, Wa Sola Bamboy Tachima Road, Jirapa Don Winiko Nandom Road, Wa Bulinge Road, Hamle Fialmo Tumu Road. Let me also add that the Simon Diedon Dombo University of Business and Integrated Development Studies and Dr. Hilaire Leman Technical University equally need special attention for infrastructural development to increase student intake.
President Mahama, in his response, assured the people of advanced plans to fix the roads.
During the campaign, we traveled on the terrible road network that has become characteristic of the Upper West region. In this region, under the big push, we are prioritizing the Wa Tumu Bolgatanga Trunk Road and the Techiman Wenchi Bole Wa Hamile corridor. Sections of the Sola Fufuso Road will also be resurfaced to improve connectivity between the Upper West and the Savannah and Northern regions. These roads will not only enhance trade and transport, but they will also stimulate cross-border business and revive economic activity. Equally, we will upgrade roads in the Wa East, Nadoli, Dafema Buse, Isa, and Sisala East districts to improve access to markets, schools, and health facilities.
He disclosed that contractors working on the projects will not have any difficulty regarding payments of certificates for work done.
Work will begin very soon. In a few months, you see contractors on all these roads because the money has been provided in the budget. This year we set aside 14 billion Ghana cedis for the big push. And the finance minister has assured me that all the contractors will get 15% mobilization to be able to mobilize to site.
Let's take a quick break. When we return, more news on JoyNews Prime. Please stay. You're watching JoyNews Prime with me, Sweetie Abochi. Moving on, the FDA says it is cracking down on illegal importation and sale of illicit drugs in the Ashanti region. Regional Director John Laye Ode Tete says the authority, in collaboration with other agencies, will launch street operations targeting tramadol, red, and other opioids. He's been speaking at an anti-opioid forum in Kumasi.
It must be stated clearly that tramadol is not a poisonous product or banned. Just that the misuse and the fact that some come in illegally and for that matter are not registered with the authority is what we are drumming home. Currently, the lower strengths like 50 and 100 milligram strengths are registered, and specific brands are also registered. So those that are above 100 milligrams are not supposed to come in. And that is what we are doing together with the relevant agencies. The law prescribes the sanctions, and most of those arrested have been arraigned before court. So we are on it. The laws are working, and we want to prompt and advise all those who are misusing these kinds of medicines to stay away from it. The illegal importation must also be watched. And as we are collaborating with the relevant agencies, we will clamp down and be aware that we will come after you if you are dealing in this kind of medicines.
Now, the 2,000-year group of Opokuwari School has invested more than 1 million Ghana cedis in transformative landscaping projects to enhance the school's environment. The initiative has introduced paving systems through open cell pavers that incorporates grass growth connecting to dormitories and halls to improve accessibility. The project will address land erosion of the school's compound and open drainage systems to curb health and environmental risks they pose to students. Here's more.
The Opokuwari School in the Ashanti region accommodates about 4,000 students. As part of their 25th anniversary, the 2,000-year group of WAS, described as AY, has unveiled a landscape project to improve the conditions of commuting and beautification in the school. The landscaping project, costing 1 million cedis, include laying of ground pipes to connect running water, paving systems that incorporate grass growth through open cell pavers connecting to some dormitories and halls. Vice President of the AY group, Katechie Owusu John, indicated the gesture will improve the school's environment and make it conducive for students to use.
It's a ritual that every year group, after completion, 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20, 25, you do something for the school. Very terrible, that is the word to use. Very terrible. You could see the headmaster was talking about it. When it rains, we can't even pass that area. But now, the place is well defined. We have the curves defined, the grassing defined, and in fact, we can at least sit at the place and walk through without even touching where the green paths are. This will improve movements. It will really improve movement, organize the area, and then also for beautification too as well.
The 25th anniversary and homecoming of the AY group was commemorated with a colorful event that assembled management, staff, students, and students of WAS. The event was themed Developing 21st Century Talent, Integrating Digital and Social Skills to emphasize the importance of adapting to new trends in the education system. Minister for Works and Housing, Katechie Kenneth Ejay, commended the alumni and stakeholders for their support to improve teaching and learning in the school.
The active support of all stakeholders, educational institutions, parents, alumni associations, private sector, and civil society is indispensable. I am delighted to learn that Katechie Z7 will soon present the school with 107 laptops and refurbish its ICT center. This is a shining example of leadership in action and the influential role alumni can play in shaping the future of education. I also commend many of the school's investments in digital infrastructure have contributed meaningfully to the transformation of our alma mater. Let us continue to harness our collective strengths to advance the cause of education.
Dean, Office of the International Relations at the University of Cape Coast, Katechie Professor Samuel Bett Bwedikusi, called for constant maintenance of new projects for prolonged use.
That wraps up the bulletin for JoyNews Prime this evening. And remember, myjoyonline.com is your